You've heard me say on many occasions that over 70% of our clientele come to us for weight loss. Well, there's a myriad of reasons why someone overeats, but there is one common symptom that when controlled, not only is it the key to weight loss, but it is the key to ultimate lifelong weight control. Understanding cravings. Today on the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast.
Welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast
with Garrett Williamson.
Health, wellness, exercise, nutrition, and a whole lot more. Got questions? Call us and leave a message at 251-278-EDGE or message us at Personal Edge Fitness on Facebook and Instagram, at Team PE on Twitter, or personaledgefitness.com.
Hey, this is Garrett Williamson, president of Personal Edge Fitness, and welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today on one of my absolute favorite topics. And yes, I know I've said that before, but I have many favorite topics because what I do is absolutely a passion of mine, the whole fitness wellness field and everything I am so blessed to work with. Real quickly here, if you're interested in getting in touch with us about this subject or any others in health, fitness, and wellness, especially dispelling the myths of health, fitness, and wellness, you can contact me, Garrett Williamson, at my email address, which is Garrett, Garrett, at personaledgefitness.com. That's Garrett as in Levi Garrett. You can also contact me via our Facebook page, which is, of course, Personal Edge Fitness, and our website, which is personaledgefitness.com. If you want to reach out to us directly via phone, that's perfectly fine. You can call us at our mobile location at 251-341-0927, or contact us on Eastern Shore at 251-651-0927. We offer personal training, personal fitness training in all aspects of health, fitness, wellness. We also do corporate training, and we not only operate out of either one of our award-winning facilities, but also in your home or online. So we actually train around the world. Now, today is an interesting subject, and I want to dive into it in just a second, talking about cravings. But I want to back up a little bit because cravings themselves, I call it a symptom. And the reason I call that a symptom is that a lot of people like to start, as far as their weight loss is concerned, with what types of food are good. And you know how I feel about that. There's no such thing as good or bad food. Good or bad food is a lie. It is a lie that started in the 1950s. It is still being pushed today. And anybody that tells you that is lying to you. Anybody that says that is a liar. And I always say that so directly because if you think about it, it is incredibly absurd that we have been looking, searching, trying to find the good food, trying to find the perfect food. What should I eat? For over 50 years, and we don't seem to be able to find it. Well, that's because good food and bad food is a lie, and it's not the answer to weight control, weight loss. In fact, it has caused more obesity than it's ever helped. But most people want to start with the types of food. That's the wrong place to start, period. End of story. You're wasting your time with that. It is going to be a temporary fix. I just, the beginning of this year, saw some of my favorite Facebook posts about, hey, I'm going to jump into a weight loss program. Hey, anybody want to join me? I went in and cleaned out my pantry. I got rid of the Oreos. Now, I'm using an exact example that somebody did this year, and I sent a quick message to him. I said, is that the same post from last year? Because you did the same thing last year. You got rid of those Oreos, that problem food. In other words, you're doing the same thing again and again and again and again and again, trying to fix the food. There's nothing wrong with the food. But the next point, if people get past the food, the next thing they want to address is cravings. And don't get me wrong, I think that's a fantastic place to go. But I call cravings a symptom, and the reason being is cravings are not the problem. Now, you may think they are, but if you solve cravings, you solve a symptom. And I promise you, that symptom is going to come back because you've never addressed the problem itself. And the problem itself is a little bit deeper. But I told you we're going to talk about cravings today, so let's talk about cravings. Now, the big thing about cravings and understanding cravings is not so much that we need a Webster's Dictionary definition of the word cravings. And I like to start with that. The definition of cravings is a powerful desire for something. We all know that, but there you go. There's your definition. But more importantly, understanding cravings versus hunger. That's really what everybody wants to know. It's not so much the definition of cravings. Understanding the difference between cravings and hunger is very, 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 very important. There's a distinct difference between craving and hunger. I'll give you a little trick. I talked about this in the live food, but I'll give you a little trick that can instantaneously tell you whether or not you're having a craving or a hunger. And I'll give you Another little tip, it works 100% of the time. Even if you choose to lie to yourself, it works 100% of the time. But before we get to that, cravings, where do cravings exist? Cravings exist in the mind. They are in your brain. Cravings are not in the body. Your body does not have a craving. I guarantee you it is a desire, and your body doesn't have a desire. And even if you want to go into sexual innuendos there, those desires, yes, they're located in the brain. They're not located in the body. So the desires that you have, the cravings that you have are located in the brain. Hunger is located in the body. Yes, brain is involved, but hunger is located in the body. Now let me tell you the difference between a craving and a hunger. This works every single time. I don't think there's a single client I've ever worked with that I haven't told this little tip to. And I've been telling it for years. We use it in our Catalyst program. We use it in our In It to Lose It program. And it's extremely beneficial to understand and know this little tool of understanding how to decipher between a craving and a hunger. Now, you have to do this all in your mind, but pick a green vegetable. And don't give me that, I don't like vegetables, let's start over. Pick a green vegetable, some kind of green vegetable that you like, tolerate, don't mind, you'll eat it, whatever. You may love it, that's fantastic. Now, this green vegetable now, I want it in its rawest form. Now, what I mean by that, and again, we're doing this in our mind. If it's a green vegetable that you genuinely like, and you like it raw, great, let's start there. Maybe you don't like a raw green vegetable. Okay, something boiled, something baked, something grilled, not fried, not with cheese sauce on it, not baked after it's been soaked in oil. I'm talking about the bare naked vegetable that's been heated in some way without some kind of heavy seasoning on it. Mine happens to be broccoli. Now, what's interesting about it, if you took a second and actually thought about that vegetable, stated it to yourself in your brain, yeah, green beans, man, I love them. Okay, what happened there is an image of probably the most perfect serving in your mind of that vegetable showed up. You thought of that. Every time I do this little example for people and I state, well, mine is broccoli, boom, this image comes in my mind. It happens to be a small sauteed platter that this particular restaurant that I go to does some fantastic broccoli, and they bake it naked. It is wonderful. That actually comes into your brain. The next time you go to eat, ingest anything, chewing gum, it doesn't matter if it's quote unquote good food or bad food. No matter what, the next time you go to ingest that particular food, stop for a second and think, what if I had that perfect serving of that green vegetable, whatever it is? What if I had that perfect serving? In my mind, of course, it's that gosh, what if I had that perfect serving of broccoli? Now, I'm gonna caution you here. Don't answer this verbally. In other words, don't say it out loud. Because by the time between your brain and your mouth, you have an opportunity to lie. You have an opportunity to lie yourself. But I promise you, instantaneously, if you think, what if I had that perfect serving here? Would it take care of this problem? Your brain will come up with the answer immediately. Your brain will do one of two things. Your brain will either say, gosh, man, I would kill some of that broccoli right now. Oh, man, that would be fantastic. And you may even start to salivate, which is a reaction from the brain, not from the body. That, my friends, is a true hunger. More times than not, what you will do is, yeah, that sounds good, but that's not what I want. I want whatever that thing is. Whatever that thing I was going to eat. I'd rather have that. Now, when you verbalize it, you can say, oh, yeah, I'm sure I'd like to have this, but I'd much rather have that. I'm telling you, in your brain will automatically tell you when you think of that image of that green vegetable, automatically it's going to give you an answer, yes or no. If the answer is no, or if the answer is, oh, but I'd rather have any of those lies you want to tell yourself, that, my friends, is a craving. And I promise you, you are not hungry. No matter what you tell yourself, no matter what you tell your significant other, no matter what you tell your trainer, no matter what you tell your Catalyst or In It to Lose It coach, that, my friends, is a craving. Now, I could beat that to death all day long, but I promise you, it works 100% of the time. It works with every single person. And remember, before you think, it doesn't work with me, keep in mind, you're an individual just like everybody else. I promise you, it works 100% of the time. And it's actually a very powerful tool. If you're really trying to get control of what's going on, and if you're really trying to get control of your diet and really trying to get control of overeating and being overweight, or get control of your, well, basically weight control, lifelong weight control, understanding that and using that little tool is extremely beneficial. Now, it may drive you batty throughout the day because you're going to find out how many times you actually crave. But now you'll start to realize, okay, I'm craving. This is what's happening. I've got it. I identify when I'm craving and not when I'm hungry. Now, why am I craving? And that's the ultimate question. I'll get to that in a second. Let me tell you what we do crave. Again, craving is a symptom. Solving craving is not our answer. Solving the reasons why we crave is the answer. But let's talk about things that we crave. And let's talk about why we identify food as good and bad. And this is why I say there's no such thing as good and bad food. Things that are bad, quote unquote, that ridiculous moniker that we label food, those foods happen to have one of 4 different chemicals in them. And again, I'm not going to get into, we got to stay away from chemicals and eating all natural. That's not what I'm saying here. And by the way, these chemicals aren't inherently bad by any means. I'll give you several examples why I say that. But if you notice, you may like that green vegetable. You may like it a lot. I happen to love that broccoli that I was telling you about. You may have certain other foods that don't have one of these 4 chemicals in it that you actually like. But I promise you, your mother never had to keep you out of the broccoli jar. I promise you didn't go to the freezer section and try to steal okra or green beans. This is not something you snuck another helping of. It's not something you had an uncontrollable desire for. And the reason being is that it doesn't have those foods, those quote-unquote good foods, don't have one of these 4 chemicals. And again, inherently, these chemicals aren't bad. The 4 chemicals are sugar, caffeine, alcohol, and salt. I promise you, the only things that you overeat have either sugar, caffeine, alcohol, or salt in them. And if they don't, and you tell me, I overeat this vegetable, check and see if it's got hollandaise sauce on it. What happens to have salt and sugar in it? Check and see if it's got cheese on it, if it's got oil in it or something like that, which has one of these 4 chemicals in it. The chemicals affect our brain. Again, nothing inherently bad about these chemicals. I can't say that enough. But the chemicals affect our brain in that our brain is trying to get that chemical. That's why we crave. Why is it trying to get the chemical? Remember I said cravings are a symptom? The reason it's trying to get that chemical is that what is causing that symptom, which is craving, is something going on in your life. I guarantee you. And by the way, that's everybody. And remember, if you tell that's not me, that may be everybody else, you're an individual, just like everybody else. I don't mean to be so rude and blunt, but what our bodies do is not that complicated. We make it complicated because we want to make excuses and we don't want to take responsibility for our actions. But owning these responsibilities is actually taking control. And when you have control, you can fix these problems. That's why I'm so blunt about this. But the first thing we want to do then is go, okay, if it has one of those 4 chemicals, then I'm just not going to eat one of those foods anymore. I'm going to throw those Oreos away again. I'm going to give up on drinking again. I cannot tell you how many clients that I've worked with that have either been borderline alcoholics, or I shouldn't even use that word, but of borderline, but alcoholics, or had an addiction to that particular substance, that have told me on countless occasions that they gave up drinking. And they say it to me like I get on to them about it. They say it to me like, well, you'll be glad to know. Literally have a client that says that to me all the time. You'll be glad to know I gave up alcohol. I've never once addressed that with him. That is something that he's trying to battle himself. But that's the first thing that people want to do is we want to fix the food. Let's get rid of that food. That makes perfect sense, Garrett. No, it doesn't. And here's why. If you get rid of that food, as in a lot of people talk about that's my problem food. My problem is this food, or my problem is just this time of day, or my problem is, okay, if it's my problem is this food, if you get rid of that food, you're still going to have the craving because you still have whatever the problem is that's causing the craving, and therefore you'll go satisfy that craving with another food. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. It only happens every time. This is why you hear, and I use alcohol and I use drugs a lot when I talk about cravings, because people understand that we've allowed those to be okay. Yep, you can have an addiction to drugs. Yep, you can have an addiction to alcohol. I'm not saying it's okay to have that. It's okay to identify that. It's not okay to identify a craving and addiction to chemicals in food. And I find that very interesting. It's causing a lot of problems too. But this is why when I say that if you get rid of one food, because that's my problem food, that you'll go to another food, I'm going to use the example of you take alcohol away from an alcoholic that's really not wanting to address why they're drinking. They'll drink rubbing alcohol. They'll drink mouthwash. This is why you hear these incredible stories of that. Their body's trying to get that chemical. It's not trying to get bourbon. Just like Lay's potato chips happens to be my problem. Your body's not trying to get Lay's potato chips. It's trying to get salt. It's trying to get sugar. And it will find another place to get salt or sugar because we have not identified the problem. We've identified the symptom, which is cravings. And it's like I say, that's a good place to start because we typically start with the food. We shouldn't start with the food. We should start with the craving, or more importantly, the craving is an identifier. It's an identifier of when these events are happening to us, are occurring, that cause us to crave and overeat. You follow me? It's like working out. When we work out and we do so many repetitions, 10, 12, 15 repetitions, what have you, we'll have a pain introduced. You know, this lactic acid burn happens and we get sore. And so we know that's a sign of, hey, stop, quit it. Well, cravings is also a sign. It's a sign the body gives you that, okay, you're having a craving. All right, what's going on? There's something going on that's causing you to crave. And do not lie to yourself. Don't lie to your trainer. Don't lie to me. Do not tell me it is because, well, it's just because I like that food a lot. Remember, you also like green vegetables, but you don't crave them. Craving does not happen just because you see something. Or out of control craving does not happen just because you see something. You may crave it because you're used to it, you see it, it's there, and what have you. It makes it a little more challenging. But really, craving, going after it, ingesting it, what have you, is a result of something going on in your life. I guarantee you. That's why we talk about in Catalyst. Catalyst is a lifestyle change. It's not a food change. It's not a diet. That's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to fix the food. There's nothing wrong with the food. What we're trying to do is find out, why do we crave, and control that. And those reasons why we crave, we're going to find an answer for that. We're going to find a way to what we call mitigate it. Right now, if you're overeating, you're mitigating your cravings. You're mitigating the problems that are causing your cravings. You're mitigating them with food. The ultimate answer, is to mitigate those another way. Now, here's a simple one. You may feel that I'm getting way off track and getting way too deep, and I just want Garrett to tell me the right food to eat or tell me how to stop cravings. I got you. I understand. Let me give you something that will at least start you on your way. Let me give you something that will help you understand how to control about 40% of your cravings. That's a pretty big chunk. That is a really big chunk. And if you just did that, you would solve a lot of your problems. And I'll take it a step further. If you just do this one thing that cures 40% of your cravings and you're overweight, you will lose weight. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It, again, like I love to say, it only works 100% of the time. Folks, it's podcast number 4. It is my mantra. It is what I'm all about besides being the lie of food and the lie of aging. Hydration. One of the main reasons why we crave, every human craves, every Homo sapien craves, is because of lack of water. Your body is very smart. It knows that it can only go a certain amount of time, 3 days total, without water. And we may be able to go a lot longer without food, but we can't go that long without water, and our bodies know it. And not only that, they're even smarter than that. They know your water pattern. They know you have trained your body to understand its water pattern. So it knows what's going to happen tomorrow. It does not have any misconceptions that tomorrow you're going to get up and you're going to hydrate your body like some kind of private TVA project. It doesn't think that whatsoever. It knows that, yep, you're going to get up in the morning and dehydrate us all day. So we being your body, is going to do what it always does. It's going to control you. I guarantee you, if you don't drink enough water, your body will control you. And the way it controls you is it says, okay, we're on our usual path of not getting enough water. By the way, according to the National Institute of Health, American Medical Association, Harvard Medical, Stanford Medical, I already said that one, Cooper Clinic, American Dietary Association, I can keep going on and on and on and on and on and on. Average amount of every single human adult is 100 ounces of water a day, every day that ends with a Y. Even National Don't Drink Water Day, you're supposed to have 100 ounces a day, period. End of story. No arguments there whatsoever. Got a problem with that? Have questions about that? Disagree with me? 251-341-0927. Garrett, Garrett, at personaledgefitness.com, personaledgefitness.com, Personal Edge Fitness on Facebook. Contact me any of those ways. Love to discuss it with you. But what it's going to do is say, okay, your body's going to say, you're not getting enough water? No problem. Let's look into the brain and let's find that sugar addiction, salt addiction, alcohol, caffeine, one of those 4 chemicals. You respond really, really well to that. And let's go ahead and do what I call stoke it. In other words, that fire is not burning very well. Let's poke it. Let's provide it some oxygen. Let's get that craving to come to life. Because I can make this person, your body speaking about you, I can make this person go get something to eat, which at some point in time, this person that doesn't drink enough water will take in some fluids where the body, and in this scenario, I can get enough water. This is one of the reasons why you can't just eat one potato chip. Ha, that's funny. There's a reason for that. One potato chip isn't going to get you to drink any water. It's going to get you to drink a Coke, for that matter, which your body can get water from. And it's going to sit there and keep stoking it. Okay, I don't care how many potato chips you've had. I don't care how many donuts you've had. I don't care how many cups of coffee you've had. You haven't had enough. I haven't got enough water. And your body's going to keep doing it until you get enough water. And guess when it's going to do it again? It's going to do it later in the day because you still haven't had enough water. And you still haven't had enough water. Now, you still, after that, may not get 100 fluid ounces of water in the body. That's no problem. Your body just turns around and shuts down a lot of the faculties, a lot of its functions, slows it down, shuts it down. It's the reason why you're sitting there thinking and you got somebody ask you your neighbor's name. You know the neighbor, he's been 20 years, has been your neighbor. What's his name? I just can't think of that right now. Must be my age. Has nothing to do with age, has to do with lack of water. 30% of your water is used by your brain. These are the functions, one example of functions that your body starts to shut down when you don't have enough water. Hey, Garrett, this podcast wasn't about water. It was about craving. Let's get back to that. So that's why if you drink enough water, you'll actually cut cravings. Hey, wait a second. I think I've heard that before. Water cuts cravings? Well, that's how it happens. It happens by the fact that your body's craving water, therefore it stokes your addictions, therefore it makes you crave, therefore it makes you overeat. A very famous comedian says this quite often, that his mother told him that if you're hungry, drink water, you'll be less hungry. And he says, no, actually, you'll be less thirsty. Well, his mother was right. You won't be hungry. You'll crave less, therefore you'll eat less. But that will take care of 40% of your cravings. If you really want to address it, if you really want to make a change, you really want to address cravings for good. You really want to fix fix your whole cravings symptom, you've got to identify those problems, and you need a program that does so. And of course, at Personal Edge Fitness, we have a fantastic program that does so. And I've got two programs, actually. One of them is an introduction. It gives you a little taste of what it's like to not have cravings. That is a magical moment when you actually feel the absence of cravings. I promise you, you can talk about it all you want, but if you've never experienced it, you have no clue what you're talking about. You don't understand it. I guarantee you. Not until you feel it. And what do I mean by that? Well, there's plenty of people that eat all kinds of foods that you may or may not overeat. But not everybody that eats a donut is overweight. Not everybody that drinks coffee is obese, or a caffeine addict for that matter. Not everybody that eats potato chips or French fries has high blood pressure. Those people that have that under control, that can still have those foods, understand controlling cravings. And the program that introduces you to that is In It to Lose It. In It to Lose It is a 2-week long, we call it a weight loss. It's a quick start. Yeah, there's weight loss involved in it. In fact, if you do the program, on average, 12.5 pounds of weight. If you're in the program and you run the program, it's only for 2 weeks, and you do it correctly, that's usually the average weight loss. Hey, that's good news. Maybe I should contact Personal Edge Fitness about that. But let me say you something even more important. Within 7 days of being involved in the In It to Lose It program, you will have that feeling. If you do the program as it's laid out, you will get that feeling. You will feel what it's like not to have cravings. And I promise you, you'll want to feel that all your life. It's amazing how clear you think. It's amazing how you function. It's amazing how your relationship with food changes. Now, that's just an introduction. And we have clients that do In It to Lose It every single month. It's a fantastic way to actually control weight, if that works for you. If you really want to get in depth and you really want to make a lifestyle change, because In It to Lose It is not a lifestyle change. It takes 66 days to even make a lifestyle change. In It to Lose It is 14 days. Great program. Highly recommend it. But if you really want to make a lifestyle change, contact us about Catalyst. Catalyst is 16 weeks. Why does it take so long? Well, with all due respect, if you have a lifelong problem, I promise you there's not a 5-minute answer. There really isn't a 2-week answer. It's going to take a commitment, but we can walk you through it. Take you through breaking your addictions to cravings, understanding why you crave, and then how to handle it, and still enjoy every single food you've ever enjoyed, because there's no such thing as good food and bad food. Hey, folks, if you do nothing else, use that little trick I told you about identifying a craving and a hunger. Make sure you maintain your water. And if you want to know how to do that, and really want to know how to do that and drink 100 ounces a day every single day, don't fool yourself saying, okay, I heard the podcast, I'm going to go out tomorrow and start drinking 100 ounces and I'm going to be successful. I highly, 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 highly recommend you go listen to podcast number 4, and it will tell you step by step how to drink 100 ounces and live that way the rest of your life. If you do nothing else, do those 2 things. And if I can help you, feel free to contact me at Personal Edge Fitness. This is Garrett Williamson, president of Personal Edge Fitness. Thank you so much for enjoying the podcast today. Remember, please like and share it with others so we can help change their life and help them live your level of wellness. Good day.
Thanks for listening to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast with Garrett Williamson. Subscribe now and be a part of the show by calling 251-278-EDGE or message us on Facebook and Instagram at Personal Edge Fitness or at Team PE on Twitter, and visit us at personaledgefitness.com.